Hi friends. Today we are going to be doing our emotional art project. Hi, it's so good to see you. How are you doing? Awesome, thank you so much for joining me to do this art project. So today we are going to be talking about feelings, and we're going to be talking about colors, and we're going to talk about how different feelings can make us imagine different colors, or we can see a color and then imagine a feeling that might remind us of that. I know it sounds a little silly, but it's a really fun thing to learn about. And this is something that artists have used for very, very, very long time. Sometimes they'll pick certain colors, like if they want their picture to make people feel so happy when they see it, they'll pick certain colors so that those people, when people look at their art, they'll feel like that. Okay, and people have been doing that for a very, very long time. So in the back here, I want to show you, I hung up our pictures that we've made together, and I wanted to show you so that maybe at home you could do that too. It might make it feel more like a classroom. Okay, so before we get started, let's talk about what we need. We need a piece of cardstock or a canvas. And then this blue tape is just painter's tape. So we do one vertical and one horizontal line to make 4 semi-equal size squares or rectangles. We need a paintbrush. We need 4 different colors of paint because we're going to be talking about 4 feelings today. The feelings we're going to be talking about are happiness, sadness, anger, and being excited. So you can choose whichever colors that you want to choose. The colors that I have today are good job. Are getting so good at knowing your colors in sign language. So I have my paint. I have water in case I need it for my paintbrush. I also have water for drinking because sometimes I get thirsty when I do art. And that's about it. You ready to get started? Okay. So colors can be associated with a feeling. And sometimes certain colors can remind someone of one feeling, but just like there are no such thing as wrong feelings, there's no such thing as a wrong color that makes you think of a certain feeling. Does that make sense? Okay. So I wanted to dive in a little bit about feelings before we start, and then we'll talk about it some more as we go along. Just like we say that there's no bad feelings, we also are going to talk about today how we express those feelings. So sometimes, say you feel very angry. Say your sister or your brother or your dog or someone that you know took something without asking and you feel so angry. And say that you decide to push the person that took that from you because you're feeling so angry and you get in trouble. So if anger, it's okay to be angry, then why did I get in trouble? We're going to talk about that because what we do and how we express our feelings, that's what we can control. Not always, but we try. And that is what can get us in trouble. So it's not the actual feeling that's going to get you in trouble. It might be if you get so angry that you push someone or you break something or something like that. Does that make sense too? Okay, great. So I am going to ask you, when you feel a certain emotion, we're going to talk about 4. and I already told you what they were. I'm going to ask you, when you think about feeling this way, what color do you imagine? If you have different colors than mine, hold on one sec. If you have different colors than mine, that's okay. That's completely okay. So you're just going to choose which one for yourself, okay? Okay. So the first one we're going to talk about is happiness. And I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to really imagine the feeling of being happy. And what was it that made you feel so happy? Just think about it. You don't have to answer yet. Okay, do you have it? Okay, would you like to share with me? What's something that when you think of it, you just feel so happy? I love it. You can have your mom, dad, grandparent, whoever's with you, to write that down, okay? And now another thing, when you imagine feeling so happy, what color do you see? Okay, perfect. So we are going to take that color that you chose, and we are going to paint one of our squares or rectangles, okay? So I'm going to choose this one first. When you paint your happy, this is your little happy box right here. You can paint it however you want. You can just fill in the whole square with your color, or you can paint something. If something you think is something and you're like, oh, I want to make that. You can, anything you want, absolutely anything, okay? So I'm going to start. I was thinking I need to get an easel so that I can paint with it upright. Although I don't really like to do that too much because I want everybody to understand that your own work is the most important. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paint mine. What are some other things that you can think about that make you feel happy? Maybe you feel happy when you get to go play with a friend, which isn't really happening right now, right? We're all staying at home. Think about how happy we are going to feel when this changes, because it will, and we get to go hang out with a friend. I don't know when it's going to happen, but at some point it's going to happen. And then we're going to be so happy, even more happy than we were before, probably. Maybe when you're thinking about happiness also, you can think about the people that you love, the people that make you feel safe, the people that you know just love you so, so much. Do you like the music? I wanted something kind of relaxing so that we could think about our feelings while we're doing this. Just put that back in there. So the color that I chose for happiness is, can you see it? I don't know that you're going to be able to see it. It's very light. Actually, this color yellow is my favorite. And you don't have to know why a color makes you think of a certain feeling. The reason why I chose yellow is because when I think about yellow, I think about the sunshine, and I love the sunshine. So we're going to move on to the next feeling. We are going to think about sadness. And it's easier to think about feelings like happiness and excited because it feels good when you think about them, right? But when you think about sadness, that's not going to feel so good, right? Yeah. I just wanted to remind you that when you do think about a feeling and you start to feel that way, it won't stay. That feeling won't stay. They never do. Sadness or anger or some of those feelings that don't feel good when we feel them, they don't stay. They pass like a storm. So can you imagine and think about feeling sad? What makes you feel sad? Would you like to share with me? Yeah, I can absolutely see that. Yeah, when I imagine feeling sad, it feels very heavy. Like there's something just laying on like my back and just holding me down. Yeah. Does it make you feel like that too? So when you think about sadness, what color do you think about? Okay. I'm going to rinse my paintbrush off. And I'm going to choose my color. And we're just going to go to the next square over on the bottom. So this was an art project that we do every year for our art show. And one of the reasons why I love it so much is because it's a very safe, non-threatening way to talk about feelings. There is 0% chance that you will feel like something is wrong doing this, because we're just thinking about it and talking about it and imagining it. And even if we do feel these feelings when we're imagining them, it's okay, because we're here together and you're safe at home and feelings pass. That's something that when I feel sad, I like to imagine. There's actually a song about it. But what I like to imagine is that those strong, that deep feeling of sadness, it feels dark to me. And when I imagine the darkness, I imagine a rainstorm with the dark clouds. And I don't really imagine so much lightning or thunder because it doesn't feel loud to me, but I more just imagine just so much rain coming out of the sky. And then I imagine the rain stopping and all the water in the sky comes out. And what that rain actually did is it helped flowers grow and grass grow and animals drink water. Now, your sadness and my sadness may not do that, but what it does do is it helps to make us wash away those feelings on the inside so that we're not holding them around, walking around just holding this intense sadness. When we release it, it goes away. It goes away. And sometimes it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel comfortable to experience those feelings. I mean, it's everybody likes to feel happiness. Not very many like to experience sadness, but it's important because if you can feel it, then you can release it. And then just like a rainy day, the clouds will turn white again and the sun will come out, and then you will have more space inside of yourself for other feelings. So I wanted to talk about, actually I wanted to talk about it when we do anger, but it also relates to sadness. When young children experience being overwhelmed, so this is a big word, it's a big word of the day, overwhelmed. That means when you feel something so much, you don't even know what to do, and you don't even think about what you're doing or what you want to do. You don't think, oh, I feel sad, so I'm going to go ride my bike. No, you just cry. And maybe, I don't know how you act when or how you process sadness, but when it can be very, very intense, it's called being overwhelmed. So when young children feel intense emotion like sadness, anger, frustration, in the way that their minds, because they're growing and they're not fully developed, when you feel that feeling, like say you're just feeling so intensely sad that you feel overwhelmed and you don't know what to do with it, your mind actually connects all the memories that you've had so far to every single time you have felt that feeling. And that is why young children exhibit such bigger amounts of emotion than adults do. When you grow up to be a grown-up, everything gets sorted and filed away, and when you feel sad, you're like, oh, I'm sad about that. But when you're young, when you feel sad about something, you feel sad about everything you've ever felt sad about, all at the same time. That can be very, very overwhelming and scary for a child. So how's your painting coming? I can't wait to see it. Okay, I'm just finishing mine up here. Okay. The color I chose for sadness is, yes, it is blue. Let's take a deep breath for a second. If we're still feeling any feelings of sadness, let's breathe them out one more time, okay? Let's just imagine it coming out with your breath. Good job. So, because I want to end on a feeling that will be very comfortable for you, we are going to talk about anger next. And this is when we talk about what we decide to do with our feelings, because when we're not completely overwhelmed, we do have choices. And sometimes, especially with anger, when I imagine feeling angry, it's fast. It's like I imagine it like a train. It just is going so fast and it's so heavy that if it wanted to stop all of a sudden, it wouldn't be able to. So when you imagine feeling anger, sometimes the very best thing that you can do for yourself is just go away from the situation. If you're having an argument with one of your siblings, or there's just anything that's creating this anger in you, go to some place that you feel safe. So that could be anywhere in your house. It could be your mom or dad's arms. It could be outside in the backyard. Maybe you need to yell outside. I would probably definitely recommend yelling outside rather than inside, but going outside and just yelling can help that anger come out. Does that make sense? So once you get past that feeling of being so overwhelmed by anger, you can choose to do something. So I'm going to show you. You guys all know. You all know our feelings chart because we talk about it every day. And anger, where is he? Oh, yes. Did you notice what color he was? Yeah, wonder why. So the next chart we have, it's called a wheel of choice. We didn't use this too much in the classroom. I feel like this is a better chart to do one-on-one. So like if your parents did it with you. So when you're feeling a feeling, you have different choices. Once you don't feel overwhelmed anymore, you have different choices on how to process your feelings. Sometimes we feel really angry because we're hungry and we don't even realize that. So one of the choices on here is to eat a healthy snack. One of the choices is to read a book, to exercise, that means move your body really fast, make a silly face. Sometimes thinking about something funny can help with the anger. Dance, count, draw a picture. You could draw a super like scary, angry picture. Say you're sorry if that applies to you, if you feel like you did something wrong. Talk to an adult, listen to music. Sometimes listening to music really loud, if you can, helps with anger too. So these are a bunch of different options. So with every feeling you experience, you have different ways of expressing them. When we choose the healthiest choices to express our feelings, everyone around us, including ourselves, is healthier. So rather than being angry and saying to someone, that is your fault, you did that, which is called blame, we can think, what do I need to do right now? I'm feeling very angry. And maybe you do need to talk to the person and say, this made me angry and I need you to understand. But you're not going to do it right in that moment. You're going to calm, yell if you need to, do what you need to, make one of these choices when you feel calmer. And then, once you feel a little bit more grounded, then if you need to talk to somebody, you can. So when you think about anger, close your eyes for a moment, think about it. You're so mad. That could be that you're frustrated. Oh, but you are mad. What color do you see? What color do you imagine when you think about the 4 colors that you have in front of you? Which one of those feels like anger? Okay. So go ahead and paint in this top square. And then parents or grandparents, you just want to write down on a piece of paper their answers. And when we would go to the art show, and I would love to be able to do this even though we can't be at school right now, is if we could all post our answers with our art so that we could all see it. Wouldn't that be cool? I gotta think about the easiest way to do that. Okay, so, and the color that you chose, what is it? All right, let's paint. This color isn't angry enough. I'm going to add a little bit of another color to it. And you can do that too. If you see a color that you're like, I thought that was what I imagined, but it's not quite looking the same, you can add another color to it. Make a secondary color. wanted to, kiddos, to talk to you about how grown-ups can feel overwhelmed by feelings. So when we're young, we feel pretty big. When we feel something, it's pretty big. Sometimes it's loud. We experience it to be big feeling because we're overwhelmed, right? If you feel overwhelmed by something like sadness or anger, your reaction is going to be big, right? So for parents work so hard to take care of their kids, and we don't experience feelings as intensely as you guys do. So it's really important to know. But sometimes parents, because they're working so hard and they're taking really good care of us, and sometimes they're tired. Sometimes parents with younger kids, they don't sleep all the way through the night, or they're just doing something for someone else every minute of the day, right? When you're a parent, that's what you do. Especially when you have young children, that changes for sure. So sometimes if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're having a big feeling and your parent doesn't know what to do with that big feeling because they're overwhelmed themselves because they are taking care of you guys and they're really working so hard. So they might get frustrated when they see a big display of emotion, okay? Just know that it's really important that we both be compassionate to one another. So it's important for parents to be compassionate, and it's important for kids to understand parents can get overwhelmed too. But they always love you. Okay, you're almost done. So, this isn't really the color I chose, but it's similar to it. The color I was thinking about was more of a bright, vivid pink color. Let's see yours. What do you have? Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. I love each of those colors. Those are great. Okay, we're gonna do our very last one. Are you ready? Our last feeling is excited. So think about when you feel excited. Like you know something really fun or happy is about to happen. And then maybe your parents tell you, we're gonna do this today, or we're gonna go get ice cream, or whatever it is. I know everything's different now. We can still get ice cream, but we're definitely limited on what we can do. Think about it. Okay. Would you like to share what makes you feel excited? Oh, that is very exciting. I can see how it makes you feel like that. So which one, it's going to be the last color. Does that last color make you, do you feel excited when you think about it? And if you don't, it's okay too. If you want to, you can mix a couple colors together. That's what I'm doing. Okay. And like I said, I picked colors that sometimes people generally will associate with a certain feeling, but there are no rules. Any way we want to express ourselves is perfectly fine and encouraged in art. It's one of the reasons why I like to do creative art with you. When we do creative art, we practice using our imagination. And using your imagination, believe it or not, when you're a grown-up, is really hard to do. It's not easy. When you're younger, it's usually a little bit easier, but it's not easy for everyone. It takes practice to feel comfortable. When you're a grown-up and somebody asks you to use your imagination, most of us, me included, not so much anymore, but we feel like we're gonna do the wrong thing, whatever it is. So say we're gonna play Barbies or with little military guys. We might feel like, what do? I don't even know what to do. Can you tell me what to do? That's because we're out of practice using our imagination. And using your imagination means that you are exploring. You're exploring your thoughts, you're exploring the way that you see things, you're exploring your feelings. And that's also not always easy for grown-ups to do. Okay. How's your painting coming along? Great. I'm almost done with mine too. If at any point you need more time, just go ahead and pause it. And I'm listening to Coffee Shop Music, Relax Jazz Cafe. In case you like this music and you want to pause it and listen to it. I'm going to show you. Are you ready? That's my excited color. What color did you choose? Let me see your painting. It's so beautiful. You are so good at art. I love it. When these dry, a parent or grandparent can take the tape off, but we need to wait until they are dry, okay? And once they take the tape off, you'll see 4 perfect squares or rectangles with the colors of our feeling. And your parents can type up your answers if they want to. You can, once this is dry and you take the paint off, you can put it on the wall. I'm gonna put mine on the wall. You could laminate it or frame it, and then you can put the feelings next to it. And it's something that you can keep your whole life. Thank you so much for joining me. This was such a fun project, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too.